The February 27th, 2018 meeting of the Ways and Means Committee will now come to order. Will the clerk please call roll?
Mr. Ansello.
Here.
Mr. Baroth.
Here.
Mrs. Conley. Here. Chairman Delahanty.
Here.
Mrs. Draw.
Here.
Mr. Felder's excused. Mr. Hebert.
Here.
Ms. Cayley.
Here.
Mr. Marionetti.
Here.
Mr. Morelli.
Here.
Mr. Rocco.
Here.
Okay. Will Legislator Hebert please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Are there any speakers signed up for public forum?
There is not.
Okay. Is there anyone here who would like to address the committee at this time? Okay, seeing none. The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. You have the minutes from the January 23rd, 2018 meeting before you. They will stand approved unless the clerk is notified of any changes by the end of the day. The next item on the agenda is new business. Madam Clerk.
Referral 18-0060.
Moved by Legislator Hebert, seconded by Legislator Draw. Is there any discussion? Seeing, okay. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0061.
Moved by Legislator Draw, seconded by Legislator Rocco. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0062.
Moved by Legislator Rocco, seconded by Legislator Ansello. Is there any discussion? Legislator Baroth.
Thank you. To the chair, I'm assuming we're on number 62, correct? Just making sure.
That is correct.
Yes, so through the chair of the administration, I have one brief question. I noticed at the end of the referral refers to an in-kind match of 10% support from the staff. Is the approximate value of that staff support $1,666 through the chair?
Tom Goodwin from Planning and Development. Through the chair, that's approximate, yes.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0063.
Moved by Legislator Ansello and second by Legislator Connolly. Is there any discussion? Legislator Cayley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the administration. Of the two new instruments that are being purchased, I'm not sure that I was present yesterday. Is that because they are no longer usable, or could you explain that?
Through the chair, John Clark from the Crime Lab. These are essentially upgrading our current instrumentation. There'll be an upgrade of the current instrumentation, creating some efficiencies and greater standardization.
Thank you. And then through the chair, what will happen to the older instruments?
Through the chair, we will still utilize those instruments as needed.
Thank you. And then through the chair, upgrades aside, what's the standard lifespan for this equipment?
Scientific instrumentation has a lifespan of anywhere from 10 to 15 years.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0064.
Moved by Legislator Connolly, seconded by Legislator Marionetti. Legislator Baroth.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair of the administration, the contract amounts for each of the counties listed in the referral, is that approximately the same as last year's, or has the amounts changed?
Through the chair, John Clark from the Crime Lab, the amounts have changed and they have all gone up.
Thank you. Through the chair of the administration, I don't expect you necessarily have it right now, but could you provide before on the full ledge the overall total increase through the chair?
Through the chair, the overall increase is $95,919.
Thank you. Well, and through the chair of the administration, I hate to do it, I'll follow up. Is that spread out across them relatively evenly, or is it one county or two counties representing the lion's share through the chair?
There's one or two of the bigger counties, such as Ontario and Wayne, that have gone up. Yes, so through the chair, we use the last 3 years of data on the types of cases submitted and the total number of cases submitted by each county to determine what the charges are going to be. So if a county submits more cases, their charges will tend to increase.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Is there any further questions? Legislator Kaley.
And through you to the administration, just a quick follow-up. Over the past 3 years that you've used for your aggregate, or however we want to call it, would you say that the fees that we've collected have covered the costs?
Through the chair, yes.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0065.
Moved by legislator Marionetti, second by legislator Hebert. Any discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0066.
Moved by legislator Hebert, seconded by legislator Draw. Any discussion? All right. Legislator Kaley.
You win.
Oh my gosh, and I didn't even have a buzzer. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just quickly through you to the administration. And I realize I don't know if you're prepared for this, but could you indicate how much of a percentage or the percentage of the overtime that this funding covers?
Through the chair, it is pretty close to 100% of the overtime that's incurred by that task force.
Great, thank you.
Legislator Barat.
Thank you. Through the chair of the administration, I have a similar question that may come to the same answer, but I'm not so sure about that. Through the chair of the administration, do we know how much of that overtime has already been accounted for by overtime occurred between October 2nd, 2017 and, say, today, the 27th?
Through the chair, I wouldn't have those numbers with me, but we could certainly figure them out easy enough.
Okay, so I would imagine through the chair that would be approximately 40 to 50%, so approximately maybe $15,000 worth. Would that be a reasonable estimate through the chair?
Through the chair, I would say it is less than 50%, yes.
Okay. And if through the chair of the administration, just to clarify, if you could get me the total amount used up to today's date, that would be useful. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0067.
Moved by legislator Draw, seconded by legislator Rockow. Any discussion? Legislator Kaley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the administration, same question as 66. What percentage of the overtime does this money cover?
Through the chair, this one's a little bit easier, as this is more of a reimbursement, so the overtime has already been expended for this one. So this would be 100%.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0068.
Moved by legislator Rockow, second by legislator Ansello. Any discussion? Legislator Baral.
Go for it. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to the administration, how many live scan units does the Sheriff's Office currently operate?
Through the chair, we currently have 13 units.
Thank you. And through the chair of the administration, is 13 considered an adequate number by the sheriff's office?
Through the chair, yes, it is. They just need to be updated.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Legislator Kaley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you to the administration. Of the 13 units that we have, is it only upgrading 3, replacing 1? Are these the only ones that need to be upgraded or replaced? Or is this just what it covers?
Through the chair, we did triage the current equipment, and these are most in need of upgrading. In future years, as our operating budget allows us to cover that 50% match, we'll be looking to upgrade others.
Thank you. And then, through the chair, approximately what is the cost of 1 unit?
Through the chair, they're approximately $3,200 each.
And thank you. And then through the chair, when these are purchased, whomever you purchase them from, given updates or whatever, these are just transferred on a regular basis like any programming unit would have?
Through the chair, could you say that again?
Yeah, I made a mess of that one. In other words, is it any upgrades that might come during the lifetime through the chair of these units, they are just plopped into your email basket and you upgrade or update the units free of charge, in other words?
Through the chair, if you're referring to the software upgrades,
Yeah, yes, I should have said that. Thank you.
there are software costs incurred, and that usually comes out of our operating budget.
Thank you, but then the question would change slightly through the chair. The updates that would happen during the course of a year, per se, of the software, is there a cost involved in that?
Through the chair, not for that course of that year, no.
All right, thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0069.
Moved by legislator Ansello, seconded by legislator Connolly. At this time, I just want to address the committee. I'm a member of the Public Safety Committee, and at last night's meeting, the administration provided clarification on the equipment that will be purchased with the grant money that is being accepted. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to the administration to give this committee the same update. Thank you.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chairman. Last night I provided information to Public Safety, the lead committee, on this referral that indicated that I had met with both caucuses and informed them that in the narrative of the referral where it indicates that the funding from this grant would be used to purchase 4 body cameras is actually erroneous, and that the funding will actually be used to purchase 8 conductive energy devices or tasers, and that I wanted the committee to be aware of that. That doesn't affect the legislative actions that are listed in the referral. We checked the previous resos and the reso that will be coming before this body at the legislature, and it too should not be affected by the change. The body's asked to accept the grant from $10,000, and the sheriff's office has indicated how they're going to use those funds, and it's all in accordance. We checked with Senator Funke's office to see if they were in fact okay with this. I know that the sheriff's office did as well, and there's also an outreach made to DCJS to assure that they wouldn't have any problems with it. But we met yesterday afternoon before the committee, and then we stated the same yesterday during committees.
Okay. Thank you. Legislator Morelli?
Through you to the administration, was this a change from body camera requests to the taser requests at the request of the sheriff's office?
Through the administration, yes, it is.
Okay. And through you, Mr. Chairman, is there a reason that the sheriff's office decided to opt for the tasers versus body cameras?
Through the administration, this is actually a joint program. the same company sells the equipment, and it's usually sold as a package. So the referral was meant to be worded as such, as a package. However, at this point, due to funding available, we've decided our most critical need is the taser. And we currently have 24 tasers that are beyond their expiration date, and we need to start making that up quickly.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay. Legislator Barak.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to start by saying I appreciate the administration's clarification of the change and why an error was made, and that's fine, and that it does not affect the upcoming, the actual resolution that's going to go forth to the county legislature as a whole. However, I do think that the Public Safety Committee made an error in not addressing this by actually making an amendment to change the referral to reflect the change. And I realize that we cannot make that amendment here. We're not the lead committee. Only the lead committee can make that change. So it's not for us to really discuss to do that or not. But I would request, because we can't make that change here, that the administration substitutes in the correct language before the full legislature, so the referral actually reflects what we are intending it to reflect, as opposed to just being an oral understanding between the members here today. I think we do our role a disservice if we don't actually, pass a resolution that reflects, a referral that reflects what we actually mean it to reflect. There's no controversy here. I just want to make sure that, the record is accurate.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to that end, my discussions with the law department indicated that there would be no amendment required because the reference to the 4 body cameras are in the narrative portion, not in the legislative action. But in order to provide that written clarification that Legislator Baroth is asking for, there will be a memo provided in the informational pack that will disclose that the change and what the funds will be used for and put that into the record. So that will be provided to legislators.
And would that memo show up in the minutes of the county legislature?
It would be, through you, Mr. Chairman, yes, it would be submitted to the clerk's office as the regular correspondence from the county executive's office that I provide for each of the legislative session is done. So it would be sent there, and it would be up to the clerk to make a determination to how to process it, but I would imagine it might be a read and file, but it also be provided to legislators.
Then, through the chair, I would just say that I think that is a solution. I think it's a less elegant solution than than our body actually just simply accepting a substitution or even putting an amendment to have the referral reflect the intention. I just don't want this to be a difficult thing to find later on in life.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, yesterday when this matter came up and we were addressing it, a substitution was not possible. The lead committee would be voting on the referral as it was presented, so therefore we would be substituting out something that would, in full legislature, that had been passed by the lead committee. It was deemed that probably would not be an appropriate thing to do, given that they had voted on one document, and then we would be changing it otherwise. And also, as I said, the law department determined that the specific legislative action, it doesn't address this, so that's where we came up with a solution regarding the memo in order to memorialize the change. And right after we had those discussions, I came up to both caucuses and told them orally, and I also wanted to make sure that the members of each of the committees that were addressing it yesterday and this evening were fully aware before they voted, even though I didn't have the memo with me at the time. But there will be a written document that will indicate that change is actually taking place and memorializing, and will be presented to the entire legislature prior to them voting.
Okay. And just to clarify, I don't think the administration did anything wrong. I mean, I'm not trying to imply that. It was the process that concerned me.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. Legislator Kalin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you to the administration. Could I get the cost? I'm sorry, let me back up. How many tasers are we buying, since it's not indicated, through the chair? 8?
Through the administration, or through the chair, their target is 8.
Thank you. And then through the chair, the average lifespan of this unit?
Through the chair, the program they're offering now gives us 5 years on a lifespan.
Thank you. And then I believe you indicated through the chair that it was time to replenish and take out of service older units. Is that the case?
Through the chair, that's correct.
Thank you. And then will this 5-year lifespan through the chair, will that limit the amount of time that this unit can be used, the new ones?
Through the chair, there's no, if I understand your question correctly, there's no requirement to stop using it at
Thank
the
you.
recommended date? Is that?
Thank you, yes. And then through the chair, how do you know when one is not working properly?
Through the chair, we could demonstrate for you, but that's probably not the right venue.
That's okay. I'll take it in words rather than actions. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0070.
Moved by legislator Connolly, second by legislator Marinetti. Is there any discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0071.
Moved by legislator Marinetti, second by legislator Hebert. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0072.
Moved by legislator Hebert, second by legislator Draw. Is there any discussion? Legislator Barra.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair of the administration, I just have one question. I know that 3 restrooms are going to be renovated at Ontario Beach Park. How many restrooms are there in total at Ontario Beach Park?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, the standalone restrooms in the park itself, there are 3.
So this is all of them?
That is correct.
Awesome. Thank you.
Through you.
Legislator Cayley.
Thank you. Through the chair to the administration, I'm about to have 2 granddaughters come and live with me. I'm hoping that not all 3 are going to be worked on at the same time.
Through you, Mr. Chair, they'll be staggered. We'll do one at a time.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0073.
Moved by legislator Draw, second by legislator Rockow. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0074.
Moved by legislator Rockow, second by legislator Ansello. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0075.
Moved by legislator Ansello, second by legislator Connolly. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0076.
Moved by legislator Connolly, second by legislator Marinetti.
He didn't even ask.
Legislator Cayley.
See, there you go. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the administration. A couple questions on this. In the past 2 years, have there been any complaints from the Highland neighborhood area with these events?
Through you, Mr. Chair, 0.
Thank you. And then through the chair to the administration, in sitting behind in one of the other committees, I heard that there was a difference in the season this time. Could you explain what your comment was, because I do not remember it?
Through you, Mr. Chair, no, there was no difference in the season. The authorized time for the last 15 years has been June 1st through September 30th. What I was referring to is that the promoter had actually provided us with some dates to hold for possible September performances, which we had not had before. So I think that that's a neat expansion of the program.
Thank you.
Legislator Baroff.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair of the administration, I do want to acknowledge that the administration has provided significant outreach to the neighbors in the area, and I've attended a number of those meetings as well. And there's always some good hearty discussion about it, but I also know there are complaints as well, and there are concerns, and typically they're raised and then they're discussed and then they're addressed in the following year. I mean, so I'm sure there must be some complaints moving forward because that's human nature. But I'm not really going to worry to talk about that.
Through you, Mr. Chair, there weren't any specific complaints?
Excuse me, I was still speaking. I do have the floor, I believe, correct?
Through the chair.
Thank you. So through the chair, I mean, I just want to acknowledge the fact that, the administration has done a very good job of outreach. And, that, there are ongoing, concerns going forth, call it complaints, call it specific complaints or not. And I just wanted to commend the administration on putting that effort into the outreach. However, I do want to address the question of if the concert promoter, Springnut, wants to bring in more concerts during September, that this is be something that the neighbors hear about well ahead of time, because that is, in fact, what they have the most concerns about, through the chair.
Through you, Mr. Chair, the complaints that I referenced, or lack thereof, were specific to the events, which, to my knowledge, there were no complaints for either of those dates specific to the event. There have been ongoing concerns, as you point out, from neighbors, particularly addressing different types of events, not these particular concerts, and concerns about concerts in general, but no complaints specific to either of those two concerts over the last 2 years. There was one concert last year and one concert the year before. For 5 years previous, there were no concerts. Ongoing concerns, they are typical neighborhood concerns about people coming into the neighborhood and going to a concert, whether there's going to be litter left over, what kind of crowd control, traffic concerns, and I believe, as you know, we've addressed each one of those very well, and I commend you for attending the neighborhood outreach programs that we have had each year as well. But, as far as the number of events and when they are held, we notify the neighbors well in advance of the particular dates of the concert. Usually in the spring, around May, we provide them with dates so they're aware of when the concerts would be held. At this point, we have no confirmed concerts, but as I said, the promoter has provided us with several dates that he is exploring different acts, and we have held a few dates in each of the months, and I anticipate that there would be probably 1, 2, or 3 concerts this summer. I'd be happy with that number. I think it's a good program. It draws a cross-section of this community, and people enjoy that venue, and it's nice seeing it used.
Thank you. And through the chair of the administration, I would add to that, actually, that in fact, you're right, the populace as a whole does enjoy that. And you're right, I believe, that the administration as well as the city has responded well to a lot of those concerns you addressed just now. The one that you did not mention that needs to be mentioned is the decibel levels, because noise is also one of the major complaints a lot of the neighbors have as well. And so I'll just point that out to you. That's something that we still need to be aware of, because that's something that can only be dealt with in the moment as opposed to cleanup or prevention or such things along those lines. So I just want to point that out to you. And then finally, on a much lighter note, I would point out to you that there's a bit of a typo in here, and that it says that these are going to be scheduled between June 1st and September 30th, 2017. And while I realize it won't affect any resolution that might be associated with this, I think we could perhaps change that, even though it's a Scrivener's error, we could perhaps make that correction.
We'll make that correction.
Thank you.
Okay.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I think that addresses Legislators Cayley's question on if they'd been held in September the previous year.
Yeah.
Is
Fair
there
enough.
any further discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0077.
Moved by legislator Marinetti, second by legislator Hebert. Is there any discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0078.
Moved by legislator Hebert, seconded by legislator Draw. Is there any discussion? Legislator Barat.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair of the administration, it's a technical question. It mentions in here that it's going to, part of the process to reset the existing guide rails. Are those guide rails actually inside the culvert? Through the chair.
Through the chair, no, those would be on the alongside the road,
Okay.
which would be bringing them up to current standards if there's any change in the side slopes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0079.
Moved by legislator Draw, second by legislator Rockow. Is there any discussion? Legislator Barat.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair of the administration, what is the timeline for this project as a whole?
Through the chair, the design contract will begin this year. We'll progress with design through 2018 and 19 and constructed in 2020.
Thank you. Through the chair of the administration, the construction can occur through 2020. Do we anticipate that when we talk about the replacement of the lighting conduit system and such, is that all or only as needed? Through the chair.
Through the chair, all the fixtures are intended to be replaced and the conduit as needed.
Okay. And then finally, through the chair of the administration, if the construction is going to occur in 2020, do we anticipate that to be done in the course of one construction season?
Through the chair, yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0080.
Moved by legislator Rockow, seconded by legislator Ansello. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0081.
Moved by legislator Ansello, seconded by legislator Connolly. Is there any discussion? Legislator Cayley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, just briefly, is this an improved lot or is this space empty?
Through the chair, it's improved.
Thank you. And then, through the chair, as I'm not that great when I'm figuring out all the square footage, what is sitting on this lot at present?
I don't have that with me presently, but I can get that information for you.
Thank you. And then anecdotally through the chair, was there any issue with the owner of this property since eminent domain was apparently used here?
Eminent domain
Was it?
was not used
was
here. Through the chair, the owner wasn't initially happy with the offer that we made, but through several discussions, he decided to execute our option and right of entry agreement and retain his rights to go to court for additional funds.
Okay, thank you. And then, no, that's it for now. Thank you.
Okay. Legislator Morelli.
And through you to the administration, do you anticipate that this will go to court for additional funds?
Through the chair, given that he finally came around and signed it with the right to retain it, I think it probably depends on how the project goes and whether or not he's satisfied with the construction.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, how much of the, I assume it's a gentleman, as you've referred to, it's his home, so is this taking away a piece of his property?
Through the chair, it's a permanent easement for construction and future maintenance, but he still retains rights to the property.
Will, through you, Mr. Chairman, will work be done to his property to put it back into good condition after the project is completed?
Through the chair, yes, it will.
Okay, thank you very much.
Is there any further discussion? Okay, seeing none. All those in
Josh
favor?
had a
Oh, Legislator Barat.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Sorry, just one quick follow-up. Through the chair of the administration, could we have that description of the nature of the, what's on the property before the full lights, please?
Through the chair, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Any further questions? Okay. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0082.
Moved by Legislator Conley, second by Legislator Marionetti. Discussion. Legislator Morelli.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the administration, how many parcels are currently charged with unpaid taxes?
Mr. Chairman, just to clarify, referral number 18-0082 regards the publication of unpaid taxes. Technically speaking, this relates to 2018 taxes. None of the 2018 taxes are yet delinquent. At the date of delinquency is not until August 20th.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, so this is simply to agree to the $7 per parcel for the upcoming tax season?
That is half of it, Mr. Chairman. It agrees to the service fee, but also the acknowledgement of our obligation to publish in July and August the list of parcels with unpaid taxes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll let Legislator Baroff ask questions about where it's being published.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Okay. Oh, Legislator Barat.
How could you miss that?
Funny enough. Actually, it's not so much about when it's going to be published, because I know where it's going to be published. It's more about when. And the question I have is, it's mentioned in the referral that the list will be placed on the website as well. And my question is, when will that list be placed on the website, through the chair?
Mr. Chairman, that list is published on the county's website on the same date of publication, which is August 15th.
Thank you. Through the chair of the administration, is August 15th selected because we don't know, technically speaking, who's actually going to be in arrears before, like on August 14th? Technically, it's not too late yet. Is that correct, through the chair?
Mr. Chairman, that is the dates specified in Monroe County's tax law.
Okay. So then I guess I'll follow up and say another. Why can't we put the list online prior to the 15th then, through the chair? Well, that's what I tried to ask the first time.
Mr. Chairman, realistically speaking, and for all intents and purposes, this is an inducement for property owners to pay their taxes. Harkens back to the days gone by when people were much more embarrassed to have their names published that they did not pay their taxes. It is still an inducement today, regardless of any of my opinions on whether it really is an embarrassment.
Well, I would point out that if it was still published in the DNC, it'd be probably more publicly embarrassing because of the circulation. I'll just point that out for what it's worth. Thank you. The only thing I'd add on is I'm assuming that there's going to be, on the main landing page, there'll be some sort of reference to the list made, so it'll be easy to find for the chair.
Mr. Chairman, there is a notice on the Monroe County's landing page. I believe that in prior years the PDF document is actually on the finance section of the county website.
Okay, that's fine, as long as the notification's there. Thank you.
Are there any further questions? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0083.
Moved by legislator Marionetti, second by legislator Hebert. Are there any questions? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0084.
Moved by legislator Hebert, seconded by legislator Draw. Legislator Barra.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair of the administration, what is the nature of this parcel of land?
Through the chair, it's a vacant piece of property that used to be, many, many years ago, a quarry.
Thank you. And through the chair of the administration, are we going to have a environmental review statement prior to the full let for this property, through the chair?
It is completed, yes.
It is completed. Thank you. And the results were through the chair?
No negative impact.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any further questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0085.
Moved by legislator Draw, second by legislator Rockow. Are there any questions, legislator?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair of the administration, the same questions, the nature of the property and whether or not the environmental review was completed.
Through the chair, this was a single-family home, still standing but condemned by the town, and the environmental review has been completed with no negative impact.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any further questions? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0086.
Moved by legislator Rockow, second by legislator Ansello. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all those please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0087.
Moved by legislator Ansello, second by legislator Connolly. Are there any questions? Legislator Cayley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the administration. On the sale of these, which I think is a great way, I get the optic that as a help vehicle passes through a county, the system might change. So could you tell me, on these help vehicles, are they a county-centric type of vehicle, or do they span from one exit to another level exit down the road?
Through the chair, Tim Colmeyer, Deputy Public Safety Director. They are central to Monroe County. And
Thank
they
you.
are part of the local interstate, not the throughway.
Thank you. Right. Okay. But, all right. That's that part. Through the chair to the administration, how did you arrive at a service fee of $9.25 per device?
Mr. Chairman, although I did not bring the calculation with me tonight, we have discussed it in the past that we reviewed the overall cost of the fiber and tower infrastructure divided by the capacity of the system of 15,000 radios and accounting for the internal operating costs of the Department of Public Safety arrived at a monthly cost at $9.25. I can provide, Mr. Chairman, the detail behind that calculation before the ledge meeting if it's requested.
Thank you. And then through the chair, the DOT is going to purchase the 10 radios. Are they purchasing them? Who are they purchasing them from?
Through the chair, I don't know.
Thank you. But through the chair, it would be a vendor that was approved to sell said radios to said help program, DOT, blah, blah, blah. In other words, a compatible radio.
Through the chair, we identify the specifications they need to have in order to be on our system, and then they go out through their procurement process.
All right, thank you. And then, so then, through the chair, when you refer to radio repair and maintenance being the responsibility of the NYS DOT, that is because they're purchasing them outside. Is there any ramifications if the radios are misprogrammed or not done? I take back misprogrammed because we would be doing it. We wouldn't make that mistake. But in terms of the radios not functioning the way they should, is there any ramification that would become a responsibility of Monroe County, or would it be of HELP and DOT?
Through the chair, I'm not sure I understand the question, but let me answer it this way. We program the radios and have the ability to remotely shut them off if they're not functioning correctly, and there is no negative impact to our system.
All right, thank you. That was through the chair. That was a good question, but that's not exactly what I asked. But I think what I'm looking at is we have 3 entities here, and they're all working together through the chair. Is there any liability on the part of Monroe County HELP or the state DOT if something untoward were to happen as a result of the radios and the purchase whereof? I realize it's a far reach, but I'm looking at liability of something that we actually have 3 entities that are involved in, or more than 3 entities involved with a very sophisticated piece of equipment.
Through the chair, the law department reviewed the construct of these contracts when we entered into an agreement with Monroe Ambulance about liability, and has determined that it lies with the purchaser.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 18-0089.
Moved by Legislator Conway, second by Legislator Marionetti. Is there any discussion? Legislator Barat.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the Chair of the Administration, I was present when the Human Services Committee met, and I understand why the MCH auxiliary can't assume liability for the vehicle, and that's perfectly clear to me. My question is this a common practice for the county to actually own vehicles that are used by other entities, such as the auxiliary? Through the Chair.
Through the chair, this vehicle is not used by the auxiliary, it's used by the hospital.
Okay, I'll rephrase. Through the chair of the administration, is it a common practice for the county to own vehicles used by the hospital in other circumstances as well? So not just for the hospital, but other entities out there as well. Do we know? Through the chair.
I can't, can't answer for other entities within the county. There is a history of the county owning the vehicles in question. This particular vehicle is going to be leased.
Thank you. So perhaps someone else from the administration could answer the question regarding, is this a common practice for the county to own vehicles for other entities in order to assume liability? Through the chair.
Mr. Chairman, just to clarify, well, to answer the question, no, Monroe County does not own vehicles that are utilized by other entities. This vehicle is owned, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, this vehicle will be leased by Monroe County and will be used by Monroe County. The financial benefit, Mr. Chairman, is that an outside entity who has a working relationship with MCH is offered to reimburse Monroe County for the cost of this lease.
Thank you. And through the chair of the administration, what entity is that?
Mr. Chairman, it's the auxiliary. It's the Monroe
Where is
Community
it?
Hospital Auxiliary.
Okay. That makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. Legislator Kelly.
I understand through the chair that prior to this, Monroe County had owned a vehicle that was operated for this purpose. That's correct?
That is my understanding. The current vehicle is in excess of 15 years old, and it's on its last legs.
Thank you. I can appreciate that. I feel like I'm on my last legs, too. Through the chair, then, I have to ask, the auxiliary, through the chair, is a great entity, and I appreciate everything that they do, but I find it a little bit unusual that they would come up with funding to lease a vehicle and create the situation of paying for the lease on the vehicle that will be used by Monroe County Hospital and the employees. I just wondered how this agreement came about.
Through the chair, the auxiliary actually stepped up and volunteered to do this because they realized that we needed to replace our current vehicle. And the auxiliary, throughout the course of the year, sponsors various projects which in essence contribute funding to the hospital to allow us to do certain things.
Thank you. And then could I ask, through the chair, had they not stepped up, would we not have been replacing this vehicle at this point?
Through the chair, in all probability, that's correct.
Thank you. And then through the chair, I would just like to say that I find that a little bit disappointing in us. I applaud the auxiliary for doing this and stepping up, but I find it hard to believe that this county could not come up, and this is not aimed at you, Director, by any means, that we could not come up with the funding and would then use the funding from an auxiliary that does a lot of great work. I think that this is one step over what we should be doing with perhaps what they are willing to fund. And I applaud them for doing so, but I am concerned that this is the situation we're in. Thank you.
Through the chair, just in response, this kind of project is very common in the not-for-profit world of long-term care, where foundations and auxiliaries contribute the funding for these kinds of vehicles. This is not an unusual situation at all.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It may not be unusual. I understand that, but I find it a less appropriate use of their funding where we should be doing this. I applaud them. May not be unusual, but I think it's not the way to go, but I'm not going to vote against it. Thank you.
All right, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Okay, are there any other matters to come before this committee? Seeing none. There being no matters, the February 27th, 2018 meeting of the Ways and Means Committee stands adjourned. The next meeting of the Ways and Means Committee will be held Tuesday, March 27th, 2018 at 6 p.m.